Well, folks, I have a philosophical question. And the question is, at what point are you allowed to be happy? Now, that might sound like a strange question. So you can be happy anytime you want, Tony. What are you talking about? Okay, so let's say you see someone who's just always happy, having a good time, and you want to sort of insult them and be like, oh, look at you. Why are you always happy? Like, how could you be happy knowing that there's people in your community who are homeless and starving? And then how could you be happy knowing that there's like places around the world that are suffering? You're ignorant, right? So the idea is, what is the balance between letting yourself be happy and then like being happy and being ignorant? Kind of the idea between seeing only the good in things between seeing only the bad. Because if you focus out into the world, there's a lot of fucked up shit, but there's a lot of good stuff too. So which one do you focus on? If you focus on only the good stuff, does that make you delusional? Like, what if somebody just says, you know what, I choose to only focus on the positive things in life, and is that good or is that delusional and ignorant? Just as if like you were to focus on only the negative things, someone could be like, well, I don't have time to giggle and party because until I fix all the problems in the world, I don't have time to giggle and party and have a great time because I can't do that when I know other people are suffering. See, because there's valid points on both sides. That's why it's tricky. So there's this one aspect where you can be like, well, I'm just going to be happy, and even though I know there's fucked up shit, I'm just going to focus on the positive stuff. You can say, well, that's kind of ignorant because you're being delusional, just pretending the bad stuff's not there because it hurts you. But the irony is, if you go the other way and say, like, I can't be happy, I need to focus on fixing all this stuff, where do you draw the line? Because the argument is, it's like, okay, so there's this idea that, you know, when someone says, oh, I'm a good person, I'm very caring, I'm loving, I'm great to my family, you know, and that's nice. But the question is, well, that's easy. It's easy to be loving and great to your family, but how are you to your neighbors? Right? Because of course you love your family and your friends, but do you love your neighbors? Now here's what's tricky about this idea of neighbors. Because how far do your neighbors go? Because let's say you're somebody who just can't settle down until, you know, if you know, somebody who's like, well, you know what? I see so much pain in the world, so much, people are going through so much stuff. Until all of that is resolved, I can't be happy, right? So let's say you're someone like that. So then what you do at the beginning is you have your family in order, and you're like, that's not enough. I can't be happy having my family in order when I know my neighbors are in pain. So then you help your neighbors. Now your neighbors are doing well. But then you think, well, that's ignorant of me, just me and my neighbors. Of course I'm going to help my neighbors because they're right beside me. So it benefits me to help them too because they see me in the backyard, they say hi. So it's really kind of like, you know, it's kind of for me too. So you think, it can't just be for me. I'm being selfish and I'm being ignorant. So not just my neighbor, my whole community. So then you don't rest. You can't be happy until your whole community is doing well. And then your whole community is doing well. And you think, I've done it. I have done it. But then you think, well, I can't be happy now. That's ignorant because, of course, I'm just focusing on my community because it's my community. How about another community? So then you still can't be happy because then you want to fix the other community too, not just your community. And then you fix the other community and then you fix another community. to the point where you literally, every community and every city in your country is great. So you're thinking, I did it. Now I can finally be happy. I can finally rest. But then you realize, oh no, I'm a selfish piece of shit because just my country, that's all I give a shit about, my country. So yeah, it's great in my country now, but how about this other poor country next to me? They need help. So you still can't be happy because you got to help the next country over. It's your neighboring country. You've gone to the neighbor again. You see the parallel? So now it's just not about your country, it's about your neighboring country. The small and the big, it's the same thing. So then you help out the neighboring country just the way you helped out your literal neighbor next door in your backyard. So now you help out the neighboring country. And so on and so on. And then the neighboring country behind that. And then guess what? Eventually, every country in the world is great. So you're thinking, God damn it, finally I can be happy, I can rest. And I can be like those guys who just giggle and have fun and they just ignore all the bad stuff, because I can't. I got a good heart and I can't focus and giggle on parties when I know there's people in pain. But now I've goddamn done it. Every goddamn country in the world is doing great. Finally, I can be happy. But then you realize, wait a second, I'm an ignorant piece of shit, because why am I just focusing on my planet? Oh, it's Earth. I only give a shit about Earth. I'm ignorant. How about the next planet's over? Right? Now, of course, that's theoretical for now, because for now we only know of intelligent life on Earth in our solar system. But what if the moon had intelligent life? What if Mars had intelligent life? What if all the other planets? And then you're like, well, I just can't be happy. How about those poor people on Mars? So then you have to help out the people on Mars. And then when every single planet in our solar system's fine, you say, I can finally rest. You think, I'm an ignorant piece of shit. Why am I focusing on only my solar system? Of course I give a shit about my solar system. But how about another solar system, our neighboring solar system? And it never ends. It literally never ends. So that's the dilemma. Where do you draw the line? When can you allow yourself to be happy? I'll give another extreme example. This idea of somebody says, one person's like, God, I would love to win the lottery. I would love to win like 50 million and just fucking buy a boat and party and fucking pour Heineken beer in my eyeball. And then another guy's like, that's ignorant, man. How would you be happy if you won 50 million knowing that there's so many poor people? How would you be able to enjoy it? So there's always that dilemma. You know, when do you allow yourself to be happy? Because no matter how hard you try to help out, there's always going to be. Every time you're partying and giggling and pouring Heineken in your eyeball, someone's getting raped, someone's getting killed, someone doesn't have food, they're hungry. It will always happen. If it's not happening in your backyard, if it's not happening in your neighbor's backyard, if it's not happening in your community, it's happening in another community. If it's not happening in another community, it's happening in another country, in another solar system, it's always happening. So there's always that dilemma. Now, you might think that's an easy choice. Just let it go and have fun. For some people, it's just really hard to let themselves be happy when they know someone else is in pain or they're not doing well. It's a tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing. When do you allow yourself to be happy? Because every time you're happy, there's always someone else that's not. And they're in pain, they're hurting, they're struggling. Like I said, it's a tricky balance, because where do you draw the line between being a genuinely empathic person to just being delusional and ignorant? You know, it's a very tricky line, because like I said, you can easily just say, I only focus on the positive. I look in the world and I just want to focus on only the positive, because I don't want to be negative and pessimistic, because I want to have a happy life, so I focus on the positive. Yeah, I know there's negative stuff out there, but I want to just focus on the positive. Somebody might say, well, that's delusional and ignorant. And somebody else might say, yeah, but you can't focus on the negative stuff, because if I focus on negative stuff, it never ends, right? Because that's the whole analogy I used. So the person who wants to focus on the positive things, it's easy to see their side too, because it's like, listen, man, where do I draw the line? Because I'm just trying to focus on the positive stuff, because There's always going to be negative stuff. And there's, like I said, if once you help your country out, then there's the country beside you, and then the planet beside you, and then the solar system beside you. When do you allow yourself to be happy? That's the dilemma. I don't have an answer, but I think about this question a lot, and I wanted to make a video on it. So this is more of like a hypothetical question with no answer that I can give, but just something that I think about a lot. And that's it. I'll leave it at that. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.